My stats are f***ing, oh my god, competitive. Oh, I'm a little bit positive. 128 wins, 254 matches. Let's see. Oh wait, it's statistics. 37.8 hours as as Cloak and Dagger.
37 in calm?
Almost
crazy.
38.
And what's your next?
The next highest is Captain America, 2.9.
Oh shit.
Okay, maybe I am a win trick. Okay, so season 0 for Marvel Rivals has come to an end. It was a very, very, very fun season 0, very fun season launch. And thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos. I really appreciate it. More videos on the way. So make sure to like and subscribe if you like the content. Thank you guys so much for all the support. But I think it's time to have a serious conversation. So in the patch notes, obviously you guys know I'm a Cloak and Dagger one trick. not a one trick, by the way. I do play other characters, and you guys should too. Always flex. Don't only play one character, please God. You will not climb in ranked if you only play one character. But Cloak and Dagger got a huge buff. Like a huge buff, and we're gonna talk about it later in the video. But I was thinking, like, when I first heard the news, I'm like, why would Cloak and Dagger need a buff? And then my friend told me, he's like, well, Cloak and Dagger has one of the lowest win rates in the game. I'm like, what? What? How? Literally how? So anyway, they give us a buff for because Cloak and Dagger has one of the lowest win rates. Well, what the heck? What are you guys doing to me? Look at this. One of the highest pick rates, the second highest pick rate in comp, and then one of the lowest win percentages. Guys, what are we doing here? Look at this. Look at this. One of the lowest pick rates under Scarlet Witch. What are you guys doing? You're throwing. I gave you guys two different tutorial and guide videos. I gave you 2, and this is how you repay me with one of the lowest win rates in the game. The lowest win rate for a healer other than Jeff. Like, come on, guys. I give you all the tips and tricks. I give you all the tech. I teach you guys how to I hold your hand through the whole process. And this is what I get? How embarrassing for me, the guy that made the Cloak and Dagger videos. And you're gonna give me this? Come on, guys. We gotta step it up. So that's why this season is going to be a new season, okay? We got new tech, we got a buff, we got a huge buff. All right, Cloak and Dagger mains, we got a huge buff, and we're going to dominate, okay? We're going to dominate, I promise you. We have to. Y'all did me so dirty. Huh? Come on now. I also see so many Cloak and Dagger win tricks. It's like, where did y'all all come from? Where did all these people come from, bro? And why are you making us look bad? Huh? And again, Cloak and Dagger has one of the highest pick rates in the game. So it's not like people aren't picking them. The problem is people don't actually know how to play Cloak and Dagger. So that's why I have to make another video. I have to make a new video to teach y'all how to properly play the character. Because y'all still doing me dirty here. Obviously, this is for the entire season. I think the stats are a little bit skewed, first of all, because Wolverine at 1.95%, if that's probably for all of season 0. If you took literally the last 2 weeks of season 0, the pick rate would be like 50%. Because like I saw so many Wolverines in the last 2 weeks of season 0. And obviously in the first 2 weeks, nobody played him. But since that team captain guy started going crazy, and like he literally blew up on YouTube and Twitch and all that, now all of a sudden people want to play Wolverine. So the stats are a little bit skewed. I think Cloak and Dagger definitely had a better second half of season 0 because there was just so much tech in the kit. that people didn't really know how to utilize everything, but now people are starting to learn and actually use everything that Cloak and Dagger has to offer. So I think honestly the buff was not needed at all, like if I'm being completely frank, because people just didn't know how to play. But hey, I'll take the buff. I'll take it. You know, I'm not gonna complain about that. Who would complain about that? Come on now. Alright, so here we go, Cloak and Dagger mains. Welcome back to Cloak and Dagger Bootcamp. I'm gonna teach you how to properly play the character so we can get it right this time. First of all, let's talk about the buffs. So the most important buffs that they've given us is the ultimate. So now the ultimate, instead of going 3 times, instead of dashing forward 3 times, now it's 4. Which is absolutely insane, which means there's way more damage potential, way more healing potential, and way more survivability for you and your teammates. So, and also in the last video, I had people in the comments saying, I don't think that it stacks. I don't think you can stack the ult. You can't stack the ults. It's literally a fact. I don't know why people are trying to tell me that the sky is green when the sky is blue. It's literally a fact. You can stack the ults and it actually works. So don't forget to stack the ults, okay? If there's a section of the map where, you know, you have a lot of teammates, there's a large concentration of your teammates, make sure to go over that maybe twice, even 3 times if you want. I'm not sure if it stacks the damage though. And I didn't say it stacked the damage. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, because it doesn't feel like it does. Maybe it might, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it does stack, it definitely stacks the healing. The other thing that they buffed is the cooldown on your right click. So the healing bubble is on a lower cooldown. I don't really think that we needed that anyway, because the bubble's really, really good. It's probably one of the best skills for any healer, honestly. And like, I don't know why they lower the cooldown. I think that's excessive. That's really OP. Like, that's broken. So make sure you guys abuse that as much as you can when the season drops. And the other thing is the switching between characters is faster. So that's really good. So and that's one of the things that I really wish that they would change, is the switching between characters. Because there's just a lot of times where, you know, you would get caught off guard because you have to, you know, switch to Cloak to invis, and then obviously if someone ults you, you can invis them, but a lot of the times it's unreliable because it just takes too long. So for example, like I said in the last video, Doctor Strange ult is just way too fast for you to switch from Dagger into Cloak and then invis. But now with these changes, it might be possible. Who knows? I still don't think so, because Doctor Strange ult is just way too fast. But it will give you a lot of time to dodge other ults, other big ults, and you know, that's really nice to have in the arsenal. But I think that's pretty much it for the buffs. Now let's talk about advanced guide pro tips, from your friend, the Grandmaster, Cloak and Dagger main. Okay, first of all, a lot of problems that I see other Cloak and Daggers make is bubble placement. Now, I touched a little bit about bubble placement in the last video, but I didn't really go into depth. And the most important thing when you place down your bubble is you have to think about your teammates. The bubble isn't for yourself. It should be for your teammates most of all. Because like I said, with the AoE heal, you can heal yourself if you're next to a teammate easily. So you can bring yourself up and heal your other teammates all at the same time while you're healing yourself. You don't have to save the bubble for yourself. Again, use the bubble on yourself for survivability, but don't exclusively use it for that. Okay, so the best way to use the bubble is to put it on a corner. So especially when you're playing Convoy, the corner bubbles will literally change the game for you. So if say you're around a corner, for example, Ixguard on Convoy or Convergence, I can't remember which one. I think it's Convergence. Anyway, you should always place your bubble in a strategic position so that it will help your teammate not only heal, but also stay in that position. So putting the bubble in this corner exactly this corner is what I do every time. Why? Because if your tank is stationed there, as well as a DPS, what they can do is they can hide around the corner and still get the healing, and then once they are comfortable with the amount of health that they have, then they can peek out and then they can still get the healing. So putting a bubble right here on the corner gives your team so many different options. They can peek, they can hide, and they will all still get the healing. If you put it right in the middle, they're gonna go in the middle and then they'll have no cover. If you put it in the corner, they can still have cover, they can still peek, and they can still get heals all at the same time. So this right here, make sure your team plays in this spot. So they can scout, they can peek, they can look out, and they can also protect you. If people push in, they can stay and they can hold that position. And then if the other team starts to put a lot of pressure on, then you use your wall. You can give them that burst of healing so they can fight back and that they don't panic. You know, one of the important parts about being a strategist character in Marvel Rivals is to make sure that your team doesn't panic. You know, you have to give them confidence. If you're in the comms, you have to say, no, I got you. You're good. Stay right there. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Keep your shield up. I'm healing you. You don't have to run away. That's what you should do. You should give your team confidence so they can stay in the fight. And that's something that Cloak and Dagger does way better than the other healers, because you can have like this huge burst of healing right away, and then your team will be like, okay, I feel confident, I trust the healer to keep me alive, I'm gonna still do what I have to do, I'm gonna do my job because I feel like they're doing their job. So again, bubble placement is very, very crucial. Don't mess that up. If you mess up the bubble, you know, the cooldown is pretty long. Even if I think it doesn't need a buff, the cooldown is still pretty long. So that's one very important thing that I see a lot of people mess up. And when I see another Cloak and Dagger mess up the bubble, I'm like, oh my god, help this brother. I wish I could help them, but you know. But for a lot of you, you probably already knew that. But let's talk about something that I discovered, a new tech that I've been using lately, is the flying ult. The good thing about Cloak and Dagger's ult is that, you know, you do heal yourself in it, but you can die really easily. There's been a lot of times where I got headshot or I got, you know, killed by penny mines during my ult because I wasn't full health. You know, that really sucks to die in your ult while you're using it. But something that I started utilizing recently that really helped mitigate all these other factors is to do your ult from a high point. Because if you ult in the air, it will still have the exact same effect as if you were doing it on the ground. But the amount of factors like damage or bombs or whatever that you might encounter if you did it on the floor is not really present when you do it from a height. The amount of time it would take for your opponent to respond to you would just be longer. And obviously it would take their attention away for a second from your teammates who you're trying to heal and whatnot. It's just a much better way to use the ult. And if you'd like, you can even use Cloak's invis, go upwards and then ult, and then if you're all the way up, no one can even touch you. And especially with the new Cloak and Dagger buff to the ultimate, if you use your invis, go up and then use your ult, by the time that your ult is over, you'll have your invis, the cooldown of the invis will be over. So you can invis, go straight up, ult 4 times, and then when the ult is done, then you can blind and then invis or stay in it, blind, attack, and then when you feel the pressure, then you invis. There's just so many possibilities now that Cloak and Dagger's ult is 4 times. So yeah, so don't be afraid to use the invis before your ult. Since the ult is just longer, the cooldowns, all your cooldowns will be done by the time that the ult ends. So you can bubble, you can heal wall, you can blind, and then you can invis and then ult, and then by the time the ult is over, all your cooldowns are back, and then you just do everything again. And obviously there's things like, you know, maximum pulse, Iron Man's ult, that can kill you even when you're, you know, in yours. And there's been a lot of times where I got killed by Doctor Strange's E. Doctor Strange's E does so much damage, especially if he has, you know, like the gamma. I think that raises his damage. that ability can definitely kill you in your ult, and it's not hard to hit. It's very easy for Doctor Strange to kill you in your ult, in Cloak and Dagger's ult. But if you're in the sky, if you're flying over everybody, they're not gonna kill you. So definitely keep that in mind. Obviously, every situation is different, so you should make sure to use it situationally. And again, it's up to you whether you use this tech or not. And this is just advanced tech. You don't really have to use it. I think Cloak and Dagger's ult is still very, very strong, even if you don't do it. But I'm just giving you the information, and you do what you want with it. Use it, don't use it. I think you should use it, but at the end of the day, it's your gameplay. So I talked about Cloak and Dagger, but let's talk about the teammates. Now, because obviously it's a team game, and it's very important for other people to understand how Cloak and Dagger's kit works as well. So if their teammate uses Cloak and Dagger, then they can utilize their abilities as well to the fullest potential. So first of all, something that I need to address is Cloak and Dagger's Cloak. So when Cloak uses the invis, obviously Cloak and Dagger will turn invisible and also allow the teammates around them to turn invisible and invulnerable at the same time. But this doesn't happen if you click or use an ability. So that means if you see an ult coming and your Cloak tells you, okay, I'm going to invis, that's when you don't use your abilities and you don't click and you let the Cloak do its work. Now obviously, you being a player, you want to use your abilities to escape the ult, but a lot of the times it just doesn't happen. So what you have to do is, you just trust the Cloak. The Cloak will invis you and make sure that you're not pressing any buttons, or you can move, but just make sure you don't attack or use any abilities, and you will hopefully be invis as well. And I see a lot of times when I try to invis people, they just like, oh no, I'm gonna do my own thing, and then they just die for it. So make sure that you do that. It will make the Cloaks, it will give Cloak and Dagger so much more ability to stay alive as well if you're alive. Obviously, another thing that you should know is when Cloak and Dagger ults, stay in the gobbledygook, stay in that dark aura, stay in the stars, stay in that thing, because that will keep you alive. Please God, there's been so many times in my career grinding up to GM, even in Diamond and GM, there's still so many people that don't know how Cloak and Dagger's ult works. Maybe that's why Cloak and Dagger has such a low win rate, is because the other people don't know how the abilities work. Literally stay in it. It will heal you, it will keep you alive, and it will kill the other team. So if there's a dive, someone diving on you, you will get healed and they will get damaged. Guys, please. And don't be afraid to stand in it. If you see your Cloak and Dagger going in, you're like, okay, stay with them, stay in the goop. A lot of people are too scared. The Cloak and Dagger, a lot of the times, Cloak and Dagger will go into like a penny mines. Cloak and Dagger will heal you out of penny mines. Maybe not all of the time, not 100%. Depends on how many layers. It depends on, how much damage or how much health that you have. But if you see a Cloak and Dagger ult on penny mines, that means it's pretty safe to go in, kill the minefield, and then just there's so many, and it's always like Punisher. Why is it always like Punisher mains? I've literally ulted as Cloak and Dagger to try and save the Punisher in his ult, and he just like doesn't stand in it. I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Like, why every time? It's like guys, please stand in the gobbledygook. Also, another thing is, if you're a teammate, you should know that when you layer over the goop, the aura, the ones, just like in science, the areas where it's darker, that means that there's 2 layers, or there's multiple layers than if there's just a lighter color. So the best place to stand is in the darker areas, because that's where the Cloak and Dagger went over multiple times. So if you're looking like, oh, where should I stand in the ult, look for a darker area and stay there. Also, the ult doesn't all end at the same time. So the areas that you went to first will go away first, and the areas that you went to last will go away last. So if you're playing Cloak and Dagger, it's best to come back to your teammates. So when you go in, go out, it's better to come back to your teammates, because the aura that you put initially will go away first. You get what I'm saying? So they do have the little bursts of aura do have their own timers. So keep that in mind as well, if you didn't know that. And also for teammates who have a Cloak and Dagger on your team, make sure you stay closer to them, because that's where you'll get the most healing. If you stay where they started their ult and they don't come back to where they started on their ult, that area will lose the healing first. Basically is what I'm trying to say. So make sure you do that. And it's not that much of a difference. It's only a couple of milliseconds, but even a couple of milliseconds will make a difference in your gameplay, especially if you are in higher elos. So make sure to keep that in mind. And that's it. Thank you guys again so much for all the support. Ever since the game came out, I've gotten so many new subscribers and so many new supporters. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe. There's gonna be more content on the way. Maybe I'll do some more streaming. Who knows? We're gonna get back on that grind, baby. I'm gonna try and hit Celestial or even Eternal. I hit GM last season. I didn't have that much time to play anyway. But who knows? Maybe I'll play more and stream more and do all that stuff. And thank you guys again so much for everything. And good luck on season 1. I hope you guys have fun playing, trying out Cloak and Dagger's new buffs and all the new buffs and reworks and all that stuff. So good luck, have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye. See you.